Oh, okay, good. Welcome to Devorah Leah Torah class. Welcome everybody here. All right, let's get going. I put in an introduction. We're going on the Pirkei Avot, right? Which is ethics of the fathers. You heard of
Yes.
Pirkei Avot, right? Pirkei Avot is basically in one of the chapters. It's Mishnah,
Hmm.
right? And it's written, and it's from it's written in part of the Mishnah, and it's a different tractate than everything else than all the rest of the Mishnah. It's basically teaching you how to have derech eretz, respect to one another, respect for God, respect for people, how you should behave,
Hmm.
basically. And it's
Yeah.
also called Milsa de Chasidusa, which is not really halachot. It's not halachot. It is basically ethics.
Yes.
And it's based on Torah, so it's not just ethics based on any people's ways of feelings or people's ways of what do they think the right thing is. It's based on everything is traditional, tradition from teachers all the way back to Moses, and it is ethics of the fathers. So anyway, so the first Mishnah, the first welcome Leah. The first Mishnah talks about the basically the how you say Masorah in Hebrew, the tradition, I guess that's the right word. The tradition, how the Torah was given down from one generation to the other. Okay, so that's this chapter. Basically, there's six chapters, the six chapters between Pesach and Shavuot, and we read every week another chapter. And then we do continue from after Shavuot all the way to Rosh Hashanah through the summer. Every week we read another chapter. So let's talk about the first Mishnah, which is the first paragraph in the first chapter. So what's it talk about? As I just said earlier, the tradition. And this is very interesting. It says Moshe received Torah from Sinai, which we know from God from Mount Sinai. He gave it over to Joshua. Yeshua gave it over to the Zakanim, the elders. The elders, the Canaan, gave it over to the prophets, and then the prophets gave it over to the Anshe Knesset Agdela, which is the man of the Great Assembly. Okay? And then the Mishnah continues and says, they said three things, right? Basically, have a Masunim. Again here, yeah. They said, Masunim Adin, Amidis Maharbe, have many students, and Asya Atayla make like a boundary around the Torah. So this is a Mishnah. Now the Rebbe has a lot of questions on this Mishnah, and we'll try to understand exactly. Let's try and go through it, and we can try and understand this Mishnah. First of all, every Mishnah is divided in right topics, right? In this Mishnah, it seems like two things are mentioned here. Seemingly, there should be in two different Mishnahs. Every Mishnah is divided exactly. Okay, and it's very interesting because the first part of the Mishnah talks about their tradition. Moses, it's one subject, one thing, one concept, and then there's another thing. What they said, what the men of the Great Assembly said. It's a different topic. It's a different discussion. It should be in a different Mishnah. Okay. Now you might ask, who cares? One Mishnah, two Mishnahs. Well, come on. What's the difference? And the answer is not. It makes a big difference because if someone goes up to a woman who says, if I know how to read, if I know, he goes to a woman, gives her a ring, and says, you're engaged to me, married to me. If I know that because I know how to read, the condition that you're my wife, if I know how to learn Mishnahs, I know Mishnayot. How many Mishnahs do you have to know? He makes a marriage condition. And then the condition of his marriage is that he knows how to learn Mishnah. How many Mishnahs does he need to know? So halachically, it's three Mishnah. Three. If he knows three Mishnayos, if he knows three Mishnahs, then the marriage is a valid marriage. If he only knows in according to that opinion, if everyone knows two Mishnahs, right? Then it's not considered marriage. So that means if he knows how to read three Mishnahs, and then he wants it to break, it'll be a proper divorce. If she gets married to someone else and has a child, the child is an illegitimate child. It's not just just it's serious issues here. If the Mishnah is divided in two Mishnahs, or the Mishnah is divided in one, or it's one Mishnah, it makes a great halachic impact. Is this marriage considered a marriage or not? For example, right? Okay, that's just one question. So why is these seemingly two different topics in one Mishnah? Why? Must be some connection between the two. Why it's a reason why it's in the same Mishnah. Number two, just if you just put in perspective here, the from Moshe until the men of the Great Assembly, you know how many years that was? You know how many generations that was? From the Mishnah, from Moses' time until the Anshe Knesset Goda, which is the people of the Great Assembly, was the beginning of the Second Temple.
I'm going to guess 300 years.
More.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, just think about it. It was more than a 850. It was, I'll tell you how many. Moses got a Torah 2248, okay, from world creation in the world. The Jews were in Israel for 850 years till the destruction of the first temple. Okay, see, and then you got 40 years in the desert. So that's already 890. With me? 40 years from Mount Sinai till the Jews went to Israel. 850 years till the destruction of the first temple, which is already 490 years. With me? 70 years of the after the first, between the first and second temple, which gives you 1,060. Okay, and then the men of the temple started as being a second temple. So no over 1,000 years, right? Why does the Mishnah only select these few? There's more to talk. The Rambam counts actually all the tradition, who gave the Torah to who from Moses until the Mishnah was written down in the Talmud. The Rambam counts 40 generations, exactly who received from who. So the Mishnah is okay. No, the Mishnah is, let's say, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Rabbi, sorry, are we talking about the Mishnah in general or just Pirkei Avot?
Mishnah I'm talking about from the time that Moshe received the Torah until the time of Rabbi Yehuda Anasi is probably like 30 generations. No, okay.
It's around
30.
1,300 years or so.
Yeah, and I'm saying until the Anshe Agdela, which that time, let's say, I don't know exactly. I'm just thinking around, let's say 25 generations, maybe probably more. But okay, let's just say that it's a lot. Many other. So why does the Mishnah only select these five? Why does the Mishnah only select when talk about tradition? Moshe, Yeshua, the Zakanim, the elders, and then right after Adola, which is there's many others which the Mishnah doesn't count. Okay. Now, and another interesting thing which really throws the whole thing, which makes it very difficult to understand. One of the five is Nevi'im, prophets. A prophet, is he allowed to is he you have in the government you have like different departments or different what do you call it? Authorities, so to say.
Branches.
Sorry?
Branches.
No, what I'm trying to say is this a Navi is a prophet, but he's not a chacham. He doesn't have to be a chacham. He doesn't have to be a Torah scholar. He doesn't have to be someone. He's not someone who's supposed to paskin shaila. He's not someone who's supposed to decide the law. That's not his specialty. He's a Navi. He's a prophet. He gets knowledge from God. He gives it over to the people. That's not his mission. It's not his. I was guess the word in English with. It's not his part of his not part of his he's assigned for. You with me? So why are you counting the Navi part of the tradition? They have other qualities. Okay, put the other qualities, but he's not. We don't put someone part of tradition because he's a prophet. No, he'll be part of this.
But
He's a Torah scholar because he understands.
but
Sorry.
they were the leaders of the generation, of that particular
Okay,
generation.
so that's what he is. He's a leader, but you're not going to. When we're talking about tradition, we're not going to describe someone as part of tradition because he was a prophet. Or prophet has nothing to do with it. He could be a prophet. That's not the issue. The issue is if he was a Torah scholar or not. Okay, so and Torah, and then more than that, as we know, Torah lo b'shmaimi. Torah is not in heaven. Okay, Torah. God gave Torah to this world, material, physical, material world, to serve God. Okay, in this world, Torah is not supposed to be because a prophet says that law. The prophet, you come to ask a question. He says, "I see in prophecy that this is the law." Do you accept it? No, no, straight out no. You can't. The whole story in the Talmud, how this rabbi wants to say the halacha is like him, and then the other rabbi said no, and he said the halacha is like me. Then the water or the river will go the other way, and that's what happened. They said we don't believe you. Torah is on heaven. They said if the halacha is like me, then there'll be a voice come from heaven, and the voice came from heaven, and the halacha is like Rabbi Lezer, and he still the rabbis refused to to step back to back out, to retract. And then he said, if Allah is like me, then the walls will come down of the synagogue, and suddenly the walls started caving in. And he Allah like me, then the tree will go from this side of the river to the other side of the river. All these things. And the rabbis stayed defiant. And no, God get Torah down here to this world, up to us to decide the halacha, not up to God, so to say, not up to God anymore. God gave it to us. So we see that here the Torah is not because of prophecy. Torah is because of how you put understands in this world. So why is it so important? What's it necessary to put in there one part of tradition that were prophets? Okay, so we must say since it is there must be in every person, you must have these 5 levels in a person. You must have inside of you a level of Moshe. You have inside each person in their own. They have a Yeshua part of you. You have a prophet part of you. You have a Zakanim, the elders part in you. And you have the men of the great assembly in you. In every person. I mean, maybe just to clarify, the men of great assembly were when the beginning of the second temple and after the destruction of the first, and then they were in exile for 7 years. They came back to Jerusalem, Israel. So they made a best announcement there, and they had 120 people in this Anshe Knesset like Dola, and they made many rules for the Jewish people, and with some of them we still keep till today. They decide what's considered what should be considered part of the 24 books of the Torah. What they decided what writings to write the Torah in. There's many things that everyone today we just do it because that's the way of tradition. But they set things up for the future till today. Anyway, just so in a person you have these 5 levels in yourself. Okay. So now so you have inside, and another thing is Moshe is not considered here. We say Moshe, Yeshua, Joshua, the elders, the Canaan, and then you say the Nevi'im. Wait, wasn't Moshe a Navi too? Wasn't Moshe a prophet? No, he was a prophet. He was the greatest prophet of all. So when we talk about Moses, we don't say Moses is the prophet. We mention the prophet is by number 4, right? Sinai, sure, the Canaan, Moshe, Yeshua is 2, it is 3, the 4. Yeah. So there must. All right. So
He was Rabbeinu.
he was Rabbeinu, but he was a prophet. So we're not talking about the prophet.
No. We don't look at him as a Navi. We look at him as Rabbeinu.
Correct.
He was the ultimate one.
That's right. So that's all the whole point. So we're trying to say here there must be inside of you a level of Moshe, and there's a side of in you a level of Moshe, which is the Moshe part of Moshe, the Rabbeinu, the Moshe Rabbeinu part of Moshe, the teaching part of Moshe, that right, and then you got the level of a prophet inside, which is a different level. Okay, so let's go. So that's the 5 levels. Okay, the first there's step, as we know, we go step by step. Okay, you don't jump the ladder. There's 5 steps in the ladder. The first stage is Moshe. What does it mean, Moshe? In every person, in your soul, you have a Moshe. Do you know that? Within you, you have a Moshe. You have Moshe, Moses inside of every Jew. Okay? There is like, it says, interesting, Alter Rebbe found the Chabad movement. It says, it talks about in Tanya, when he says, when Moses says to Jews, well, what's God asking from you? Just to fear him. What's the big deal? So easy to fear God. Just fear God and everything will go follow suit. So the Alter and Tanya, what? It's easy to have fear from God? No, sorry, not Alter. Excuse me. The Talmud asked the question. Is it easy to fear God? What's Moses saying? Well, just fear God. Everything will go suit. Everything will follow. It's easy. Is it small to fear God? So the Talmud says, yeah, it is easy. For Moses, it's easy. The question is, the Alter Rebbe is asking Tanya on that Talmud. Okay, very good. But Moses talking to Jewish people, not talking to himself. Moses like that. It is easy to serve God, just to fear God, everything will go fine. So Talmud says, well, is it easy to fear God? And so Talmud says, yeah, it's easy for Moshe. So the question still stays the same. We're not talking about Moshe, he's talking about us. So the Alter says, yes, it's easy for Moshe, it's easy for you. Because you have emotion inside of you. We have everyone has in the soul emotion. Moses in you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How come we don't talk about having Adam in us, being the first man? Because he wasn't Jewish?
No, Adam actually had he includes all the souls that we have come from Adam.
Right. But we always say we have a little bit of motion in us, you know.
It doesn't say anywhere that we have an Adam inside of us.
No. I just wondered, you know.
No, it's not. Well, I guess he wasn't a Jew, but he had a Jewish soul. He was before the time of the Jewish people. Yes.
Okay. I just wondered about that.
Yeah, okay. So now, what's the first thing? The first thing is when a child grows up, okay, when he's born, when he can start speaking, before he even understands anything, you know the first thing you teach your child as soon as he starts speaking? The first word you teach a child is Moshe, Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, Moses, Tziva Lanu Moshe. Moshe taught us the Torah, commanded us the Torah. The child knows that. He says it. He doesn't understand what he's saying. We don't understand it, but that's what he says. First, well, everyone, even kids, all kids know Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe, Morasha, Kilas, Yaakov. Everyone knows that, right? All kids know that because that's the first thing you teach a child. Moses, you should know these words even before he understands, right? Right? First thing is that Moshe received Torah from Sinai. Moses received Torah from Mount Sinai. That's the first thing you say. What's the idea of Moshe? Moshe, one of Moshe's characters was he was not bittul. He was a nullified. He was very, 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 had great humility. Actually, Moshe was the most greatest, had the most the most humility of a person ever had. He was a great that anyone can possess. He was so humble. Right? Now, So that's not really understanding here. A person has himself a bit complete humbleness towards God. If he understands anything, that's emotion. Essence, he gives himself over to God. A child gives himself over to God without any understanding, without any comprehension of what's going on. It's for that level. Okay? Once you have the complete humility, you can build on that. Then you have the Yeshua. Then you start studying Torah. What's Yeshua? What was the main focus, what was Yeshua's talent or character? Maybe character is a better word. When Moses went to heaven, where was Yeshua? You know who Yeshua was? Joshua was. He was by the mountain. He never left the mountain. He stayed there. When Moses came down with the Mount Sinai with a luchos, he asked Yeshua, "What's going on?" He said, "I don't know. It looks like a war. I don't know." Meanwhile, the Jews are serving the golden calf. He had no idea. he was waiting for. He never left Moses. Oh, wait, Moses went to heaven. He put a tent and stood by the bottom of the tent. That's it. By the bottom of the mountain, he stayed there. Complete humility to God. It's got humility, and then he studied Torah without any. He built on the humility. He had the humility, then he studied Torah. And actually, when Moses wanted to, before he was passing, he wanted his sons to take him over. And God said, the one who guards the fig tree should eat the fruits. Yeshua guarded it. He was the one who studied from you. He's going to be your success. So we see the learning of Yeshua, but Yeshua also had the idea of it's like also has humility. He studied because he had to. He didn't really have the level of already of excitement in the study. He did it because this is what God wanted. He was given over to Moses, dedicated. He didn't yet have the enthusiasm in it. He just did it because that's what it's supposed to be done. That's what needs to be done. That's Yeshua. Then you got the next level. You got Zakanim. Also, Zakanim, the elders. An elder doesn't mean literally someone who's old. Zakim means someone who acquires wisdom. Right? So then you can acquire it, you can understand it, you can appreciate it, you can really have excitement about it. That's the next stage. So first you have the complete humility, you have the motion. Then you study with humility. Then you get excitement in what you study. That's the idea of Zakanim. Okay? And all right, then you have the level of Nevuah, also the prophecy. You see, we're really running out of time here. Okay, when you want to understand something, okay, a prophet has the knowledge from heaven, right? He's a prophet, communication with God. But he studies it so much that comes part of him. It becomes part of his understanding, then it becomes his. He gets knowledge from stuff from heaven, but he internalizes so much that comes part of his understanding. Okay, so the idea of the Navi, you have to have this given. You're given over to God. You internalize it, the stuff that you studied, and you have to have this. Or a Navi is someone who has a fear of heaven. Okay, so when you want to ask a question, halachic question, who do you ask? Who's going to tell you the right decision? Someone who's a God-fearing Jew, because he knows if I say something, whatever I say is going to have to come out in practicality. He makes sure that he's going to say the right law. He's going to look into it deeply, make sure that he finally gives out the right conclusion. So he is a Navi. He has this relationship with God, but he internalizes it, right? He internalizes the fear of heaven that he has, the fear of heaven, the knowledge that he has. He internalizes it and it becomes part of him, right? Like it says, Mashiach will come, Messiah will come, Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet will answer the questions, right? It's a famous thing. Who will answer the question? Elijah. The question is, what do you mean? Elijah is a prophet. You can't listen to prophets. You have to know what the halacha is. Why relying on a prophet? And the explanation is that you understand it internalizes so much. Eliyahu will come down as a human being, and this knowledge will come so much part of him. It'll be him, and it won't be because it's not with Nevu anymore. It'll come part of his understanding. So we'll be able to accept it. Okay, and then you got the Anshikna, the people of the Great Assembly. They were actually brought down not only to understand things, and not only to internalize it, actually take the world and make the world a better place. They can bring down the knowledge of Torah, and it would transport the person himself and also the world at large. Okay, we really want to start just maybe very, 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 very short. Basically, Anshina were those they established prayer, and there was people saying that you shouldn't. They used to say God is an awesome, great God, and they took it out. Awesome. So how can you say awesome God when there is God with the Akum, the non-Jews who are dancing in God's sanctuary, in the Beit HaMikdash. Then they want to say the powerful God. How can you do powerful God if people are doing such terrible things to Jewish people, God's children? So then I said, no, we should say it. Yes, we are going to say it. This shows the greatness of God. What does that mean? That even when we have all these limitations and all these things we're still going to serve God. And that's going to bring out the great inside determination that Jew has under all difficulties, under all experiences that we go through. We're not going to give up our connection to God. So through having all these challenges, what does it bring out by a Jew? His inner strength to overcome all these difficulties. Awakens by him even a deeper strength that he has. They didn't even know he had himself. So basically, Asher Torah is take the Torah and use it to affect the outside world. Okay, I hope it's not too complicated. So again, you got the Moshe, the complete humility before you understand anything. Then you got the Yeshua, which is understanding but have humility. Then once you understand, then you can get to the level of Nevuah with the Canaan, the elders, which you really do appreciate, and you already understand the excitement, etc. Then you got the Nevuah, this high level of prophecy a person has, this idea of fear of God, and that affects your how you take the Torah and affect and how you decide laws and etc. Because you have this fear of God in you, which is expressed by a prophet who he always has fear of God. That's why he has this communication with God. Right, and then you got Torah, which is a great assembly. How they actually not only they study Torah, you bring it out to the world and behave according to Torah outside. All right, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. All the best, and thanks. Everyone.
Rabbi, I have a question. I'll call you.
Yeah,
later.
Okay, and I just want to ask, don't we add the word awesome during Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur?
That's correct. We say in every time in Amida, awesome. Hagiva HaNoira. We say yes, we day on Rosh Hashanah Kippur, correct, and we say in Amida every day.
Mm-hmm.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.